now live.
It's
All
fine.
right, we're live now.
Introduction.
Well, we're used to terrible introductions and shoddy production values around here. All right, let's
Mickey
get into
Mouse,
everything
Mickey
that's
Mouse.
actually relevant to the world around us early so that we can get this over with. Because I got shit that I want to say, and I want to say it very soon.
I went limp
Okay.
again. Look at that. Is that a good looking crown or what, huh? Does that look good?
Looks like shit.
Bite me.
All right, so let's get on with it.
All right. So TNA have supposedly sold their video library to WWE.
There's no confirmation of that. Basically, what people are going on is that Daniel Bryan told AJ Styles on that after show that he's a former TNA champion, IWGP champion. They didn't buy New Japan, so that's no more an indication they bought TNA to me than that. If they did, good for them. If not, then good for them. It doesn't really matter. TNA wasn't relevant. It isn't relevant. It's not going to be relevant. So
I used to say they had absolutely no value, but I guess if they have all those videos of what, 8-9 years, however long they've been around.
02, yeah, so about 14.
So 14 years. So if they got 14 years of videos, I guess there's some relevance. These goddamn phones. There's some relevance to that, but it might give them some value. But I personally wouldn't give them $15 for the whole goddamn company.
The hilarious thing is the only value they have is based on WWE taking wrestlers that they didn't know what to do with and making them bigger stars so that WWE can use their old footage. The only value they even have is to the company that's been trying to kill them for years.
WWE basically fucked themselves by devaluing all the people that they've got.
By upping the value, yeah.
Yeah, so really they kind of fucked themselves as the value of those videos anyway. So I don't. Here's what I told somebody on another podcast the other day that I would do. What I would do is I would have Monday Night Raw on Mondays. Tuesday nights I'd have SmackDown. Wednesday night, and I'd put them all on the USA Network because what the fuck else are they showing anyway? I would put NXT on Wednesdays. Thursday nights I would have TNA. Friday nights, I would bring back ECW, let Paul Heyman run that, and whatever these fucking hardcore fucks want to do. There's your Friday night hardcore fights. Saturday nights, I forgot who bring back WCW. What the fuck? You own them, why not bring them back? And then on Sundays, you have geriatric wrestling. You're not even allowed to get in the ring unless you're 60 years or older. And we'll have geriatric wrestling. Hopefully, to God, some of them will break their bones, because that's what people are going to tune in for. Maybe Jerry Lawler would do a moonsault off the top rope. He won't quit, so maybe he'll do that. And but geriatric wrestling on your Sunday nights, and that gives all the people 60 and over. You 55 and older, Chris, or 60? What do you think?
55. I mean, let's
55 and over, because some of those guys can actually work a little bit.
Yeah,
the sad thing is, we saw a 66-year-old man wrestle a 72-year-old man in Johnson, Tennessee, and it was the best match of the night. Probably the best thing I'd even seen on Raw in quite some time. So, geriatric wrestling, ECW, WCW, we got a night for everything. Put them all on the USA Network. All shows are now 2 hours. Fuck this 3-hour, 23-minute bullshit show on Mondays. And rotate the rosters accordingly. Just put the people where they need to be. And at the end of 1 year, NXT will be the highest rated show out of all 7 of those, unless the geriatric wrestling really catches on.
Harry says that his computer is frozen, that he can't hear or see us.
We had a breakdown as to the 7 shows a week on the USA Network. Did you hear any of that?
I did not. So whether they did or not.
All right, are we on the air now?
We are, yeah.
Prince, you go ahead and run down the 7-day.
I don't care enough to go back through that shit show. All right, the vice presidential debate. Who wants to talk about that?
Well, Mr. Peanut is too big of a chicken shit to come out and debate Foghorn Leghorn.
Have we decided
He'll get his fucking feathers handed to him.
Well, no, I meant the actual one that happened last night between Pence and Kane.
He means the real one.
It was very nice that Pence could take the night off from running the Umbrella Corporation, take his sunglasses off, and go in there and do that debate. Everybody knows that I'm about as liberal as you can get, that I hate Republicans, that I hate the Republican Party, that I would like for them to die. But my dad is taking his blood oxygen now for what I can only describe as no apparent reason.
You never. I'm going to make sure I'm going to live through the show. Harry's got my blood pressure all.
But I will have to say that as far
88 heart rate, 97 blood oxygen. That's practically a vision of perfect health.
I will say that Pence came across as far more presidential of the two. He seemed more professional, more educated, and more like he actually knew what the hell he was talking about. Kane continually interrupted, which he had to because he wasn't going to get a word in otherwise.
I hate it when fucking people interrupt too. That burns me the fuck up when you're trying to do a podcast, you're trying to talk, you're trying to explain your point, and then some old fuck just bumps in and just starts flapping his gums. No reason, ain't got shit to say. Go ahead.
And Pence, I'm out. I don't remember. But Pence failed to actually defend absolutely anything that Donald Trump has said throughout the entire campaign. It was a joke of a debate. Nobody watched it except me, Jeremy, Maya, and probably you.
I did actually watch it because the Prince convinced me it was going to be great. It was going to be huge. It was going to be a huge debate.
I thought it was going to be a huge debate. I thought for sure that Kane would latch on to the fact that Trump had said that people with PTSD are weak and bad soldiers.
In my opinion, Kane actually won the debate.
Oh, yeah, as far as debating goes.
But as far as alienating everybody that was, he was irritating me. And I'm the king.
Did he choke slam the other guy?
Pardon?
Did he choke slam the other guy?
No, it wasn't that Kane.
No, it wasn't that Kane. It was a different Kane. But no, I was put off by how he kept interrupting. Chris said, well, that's what you would have done, Dad. You'd have done the same thing. In this particular case, I would have took the high road, and I would have said, Mrs. Moderator, you hot Filipino baby, by the way, you're smoking. I would have pointed that out and told her how hot she was. And by the way, my little girlfriend is Filipino. You and I have a connection here. The next time this old white-headed fuck interrupts me, kill his microphone or I'm walking off the stage and you have no debate. Now take that, you hot Filipino moderator, you. Now that's what I would have done.
And that's 30 seconds of our lives we won't be getting back.
What? That I admired the hot Filipino moderator. She was smoking. Bitch, I mean, that's disrespectful. See, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say bitch was smoking. She was a fine looking young lady. I forgot. I hope I don't find her name because I'll be Googling her tonight. And
she may have been fun to look at. I don't remember her, but she was not very a good moderator.
She was better than Lester Holt. At least she tried to shut those fucks up when they got out of hand. I thought she was a fine moderator. They just wouldn't. They're like me and you. Are we going to listen to her if you and I are debating each other? Are either of us going to shut up?
No, I'm telling her to shut the fuck up. That I got something to say.
Shut up, Filipino bitch. Now that's racist, practically. What I just did there.
You're fitting in with this campaign
I'm
season.
telling you what Trump would have done. Shut up, you Filipino bitch. That's what Trump would have said.
He wouldn't have told her she was hot because she doesn't look like his daughter.
No. She don't look like his daughter. So and nothing like his daughter. But good-looking woman. I thought she was well versed in the English language. She did a fine job. And she tried to keep it under control. She tried harder than Lester Holt did. And I'm a big Lester Holt fan, even though he is a registered Republican.
I doubt he's voting that way this year.
As opposed, I doubt he's voting that way this year. But Trump went on television the next day and said that he didn't get a fair shake from the beginning, that Lester Holt was a Democrat. Well, I think that he assumed, due to his skin tone, that he was probably a Democrat. It turned out that Lester Holt's been a registered Republican for the better part of 13 years. Boy, this show's sounding a lot like Cornette's fuck-ass show.
Well, he's in London. We gotta carry the mantle.
Someone's got to pick up the slack. Well, at least
his show is tonight.
The
actual live show, Harry.
He's got. That's right. He's got the live show. Would you want to go to that, Harry? Or are you wrapping us up early so you can go over there and hang out with Jim Ross and Jimmy?
I think it was a couple of hours ago.
Yeah, it's like.
So 11. You're late. You're late, then, is what you're telling me.
Do we have any callers or comments?
Yeah. Do we have any callers, comments, or
the thing about callers?
The thing. Here we go.
The app doesn't actually work on Hangouts.
Well, I thought it did.
Because I contacted them and they say it's illegal with live broadcasting or something.
Okay. All right.
So we don't have callers today.
Do we have anything from the chat room?
Any chatters going on? Any comments? And we'll let them dictate, because we're really all we got to do. We got to bitch about a couple of things, and
I don't want to be here anyway. So.
And Chris never wants to be here.
You can never do.
I'm thinking about taking the name off the Bolin Alley. Well, wait a minute, that'd still be me.
So. The Rising Sun.
So the Rising Sun. Now that would be your show. the rising sun.
No, I am not related to any of those motherfuckers. You're
related.
Look, you might kiss their ass occasionally. I don't.
Only out of kindness and good fatherly advice did you not become Christopher Rising, the rising sun.
There was a time in high school I thought I would have taken
that would have been the greatest gimmick ever. The rising sun.
As you choked to death trying to put that over.
I would have been Bad Moon Rising, and you would have been the rising sun.
The puns just write themselves, folks.
It would have been great.
Tom Brandy, if you're listening, that name still gets used.
You know what? There's a show on NBC right now. What's it called? Time something or another? Time Spirit, Time Travel.
Timeless.
Timeless. And we could go back in time, change my name to Rising. I could establish a 28-year career as Bad Moon Rising. And then when you come on, ladies and gentlemen, the rising sun.
Not to put forth an effort, though, and I'm not going to do that.
Rising sun. We got to get the ing off of there, like in bowling. It's bowling. In tribute to Harry's hometown, got the crown there. Jimmy Cornette bought that for me when he was in London the last time he went.
The hometown of...
So this is Harry's hometown. We broadcast live.
Harry, that's not where you live.
We're broadcast live from downtown London.
Don't you live in like Leicester or something?
No. An hour away from London.
Okay.
You're an hour from London. Well, you're within the perimeter.
I was talking to somebody the other day and told them you live near the McLaren factory. It might have been Maya, and she was quite shocked by that.
What is
yeah, it's
the McLaren factory?
literally in my town.
McLaren is a hypercar / F1 manufacturer.
Guys, I have multiple monitors here, and when I look up, I'm looking to see what we're seeing because we're looking at the big.
Yeah, if you would change your gimmick monitor setup, you might be able to actually not look like a jackass.
Let me see what I can do. PC, give me a second. RGB, there we go.
I'm so fed up with this Mickey Mouse ass operation we do.
Look at that. Now we're looking. I'm looking down at the camera now instead of.
How do we get as many views as we do? Like I don't understand it because we should
just love us.
We've been running.
They shouldn't. We're terrible. We're terrible. Anybody who listens to us, fuck you. You need to do something better with your life.
We've been running for a long time. I don't bullshit the people.
You can get great school grants thanks to Baroctimus Prime. Go back to school. Get an education. Do something.
I give them a little bit of everything. There we go. We're even bigger now. And we got a big fan in the room back there. Big fan. There's a big fan over here, but you can't see it.
Speaking of big fans, where's Jimmy LeBeau? He's supposed to be coming over.
Who invited that fucker?
He invited himself, just as he always does.
Himself.
Yeah.
That's what people do over here. Cornette's illegitimate son that he won't pay no fucking child support on. Please, if you would, Mio's off camera. Is she looking hot tonight?
I'll be back. I don't care about any of this.
Bring me back a cold drink. Hurry back, because if I got to suffer through this, so do you. Grab me a cold drink. All right, the prince is out of here for a minute. His wife has called him aside. She rudely interrupted the show, but if they bring me a cold drink, I don't give a shit. So we're on multiple monitors over here right now. We're on a 32-inch, and we're on the 60-inch that hangs on the wall. And so now I don't have to look up to see where, but my eyes look big, bright, and pretty today. And then when I look down, they're not as big, bright, and pretty. And I think the hair's looking slightly above average today. That's
you still have more than me any day of the week.
Well, yeah, a little bit more. And it'd be rude to make me fat, ugly, and bald. So now I just got 2 of the 3 to deal with, and we'll talk about my upcoming surgeries. I've got a couple of surgeries, hopefully coming up in the near future, within the next month or so. We'll touch on that a little bit. What else is going on? We're going to definitely get into that. It's kind of probably we covered a lot of that on the Jim Cornette Experience, and now that the Prince is back in the room, this might lead us to some things that the Prince might have to talk about. He wants to know how Rico's doing. Update on Rico. Say what you know. I'll fill in the gaps because I've got a nice cold black chair here. Where's my camera?
It's Kroger brand for you deep Louisiana bastards going to Super One Foods.
There's a story going around.
I've got my Coke in my fridge down there in a minute.
There's a story going around that an old fat man ripped them off for a lot of money years ago.
So
he wasn't so old and so fat back then. Is this thing picking me up good, Harry? Are you hearing me good over there?
I found the group where everyone says what they want us to talk about. So
I love that you've learned how to speak Swahili. That's a very impressive skill.
Yeah, that broke out of hell. I don't know what you're doing over there, but that broke up all of hell. But it did sound a lot like Swahili.
I said I found the Facebook post where everyone says what they wanted us to talk about. So,
Okay. Well, great. Well,
If you ever listen to the beginning of Tech Nine's Absolute Power, it sounds just like
do
you.
you think he's holding his mic too close, maybe?
No, I think I don't know what it is. It sounds just like the beginning of
How
Absolute
do
Power.
we sound? Are we good and clear over your way?
you're
Or?
good at that.
All right. Well, if we're good and clear, then we're good and clear. So, what do they want us to talk about?
Oh, you were going to talk about Rico first.
Basically, he's out of the hospital. He's back home recovering. He seems like he's doing a bit better. We're still trying to get as much money collected as we can to help him with his insurance cost. Because we live in this hellhole of a country, yes, I'm saying it, he has to pay $600 a month for insurance.
$600 a month, and that doesn't factor in his rent, his food.
That's just, he has to make $600 a month to not die.
Yeah, just to have insurance, and then he's got to pay for his co-pays on his meds. And so really the $600 a month is just the tip of the iceberg of what he's got going out, because that don't factor in rent, a car payment, because there are days he feels good enough that he at least can drive to the drugstore and get his meds. And then there's other times he's in his bed for 3 or 4 weeks at a time and doesn't leave the house, doesn't talk to anybody. He's got the, what is that concussion thing he's got going on, Chris?
Post-concussion syndrome.
He's got that going on very severely.
And I'm going to be covering that in something that won't be related to the Bolin Alley. So that'll just be my own little independent post that I make.
That's going to be coming out probably pretty soon. We did get some good news. Of course, you know that Chris Jericho donated $3,000 on GoFuckMe. It's GoFuckMe because that site has raised a little over $5,000, and they've already pocketed $550 of it, and Rico still hasn't figured out any way to be able to retrieve his money.
Have you figured out who you actually running out?
Harry, you're going to have to make an adjustment over there with your microphone because it is very distorted.
But we don't know who's actually running that, to answer your question.
You don't know who's running it?
No.
No. Well, yeah, it's a guy by the name of Chris Feather. Rico said he apparently did a podcast with him about a year or so ago, whatever. And I think Chris Feather has good intentions, but GoFuckMe is pretty much what it is. They fuck you out of over 10% of your money and then make you work very hard to be able to get it. Cornette tried to defend him, but once again, Cornette didn't know what the fuck he was talking about.
If it involves technology, Cornette has no idea what it is.
Cornette was talking about Kickstarter. Well, Kickstarter is not GoFuckMe.
Kickstarter is for funding projects, not human beings.
And they give you stuff back?
You have like goals and things like that.
Harry, your sound is horribly distorted. I don't know why. You were very clear there for a while.
Are you sure that's not my accent you're making fun of?
No, it's not your accent.
I'm serious. Go to YouTube and look up Absolute Power. That's what you sound like, the beginning of that, by Tech Nine.
Okay. I mean, but no, it's coming through real crackly and real distorted. And originally, it wasn't doing that.
Really? I haven't adjusted it.
No idea, brother. No idea. We're just going to talk, and you can chime in, and if we can understand it, then we can understand it.
We'll get through it. We'll figure it out.
So
we make adjustments every episode.
So Rico's doing all right. Not really all right, but as all right as he's going to.
Yeah.
Better than he was, but not as good as he should be. So we're still trying.
Yeah, he's got the 2 blood clots in his lungs. He's got a very bad heart valve. They said that his heart is not getting enough oxygen, which I dealt with on a small factor compared to what he's doing. They had to get my blood oxygen was down in the 80s when I went into the hospital a few years ago. But since then, I've been doing pretty good. I hang anywhere from as low as 93 to even as high as 99 just a couple of days ago. Well, Rico's apparently is nowhere near those numbers. And, of course, he's got the brain issues. He's been hallucinating. He's been seeing things that aren't there. Can't remember shit. He'll tell you one thing, and then an hour later, he forgets he even told you. And he knows this because people keep reminding me, Rico, we just told you this about an hour ago. And so he's got a lot of shit going on. There have been some big names in the business that I've approached, not only of OVW and WWE, that for whatever reason, for a man as good as he is, has not donated one dime. And I'm talking huge names in the business that worked with him that might not even be there had they not worked with Rico. I'll let you do the math. The great thing is that Chris Jericho has been very supportive, and he is personally flying to Vegas this weekend and is going to go to Rico's house on Sunday to do a podcast with him and bring awareness to everything that Rico's going through right now. And there was one fan that wrote that they weren't going to support him because Rico beat up black people.
I saw that.
Because he was a cop, and that was posted on GoFundMe. Chris begged me not to reply to it, but folks, here's the thing. I'm sure Rico beat up a few black people. He beat up a shitload of white people. He beat up probably a few Chinese, a few Mexicans, a few Filipinos, a few Indians, a few Hindus.
Couple Canadians.
Oh, I hope to God he beat up a few Canadians.
Couple of French.
I'd be ashamed of him if he didn't.
The French just ran.
The French stunk so bad he couldn't get close to him, and when he did, they ran anyway. So it didn't work out well with the French.
The police report just read "Sacre bleu" over and over again.
He was a cop most of his life, folks, in the city of Las fucking Vegas. At one point, the crime capital of the world. I'm sure he beat up a black or two. I'm sure he beat up a billion fucking whites and about every goddamn race you can name. I'm sure at one point.
And we're not saying that he attacked them. We're saying that he was defending himself from them. Rico has been run. He's been run over. He's been shot, stabbed. I think he was stabbed twice,
2 or 3 times.
Yeah,
shot twice.
I mean, he was a member of the SWAT team in Vegas. He was not. And everybody who, everybody can say that I'm a liberal and that I bitch about socialized medicine, but this guy was a public servant. You guys all say, blue lives matter, blue lives, whatever the fuck. Rico is one of the most blue lives I know, and one of the only ones that I actually have even a modicum of respect for.
And who was it he was a bodyguard for? Was that Benny
Hinn, yeah, Benny Hinn, yeah.
He was a bodyguard for Benny Hinn. He knows shit that he is still terrified to tell me to this day. He don't even like for me to bring up the fact he was a bodyguard for Benny Hinn.
So we say it on a podcast, it gets 170,000 downloads. Well, you're a great friend.
What the hell?
But my point is that whether you believe in socialized medicine or not, the government owes Rico more than what he's getting. Medicine owes Rico more than what he's getting. And the fact that he's in this position.
The WWE.
Wrestling certainly does, in particular Ohio Valley Wrestling, which is where now I'm going to chime in. And after I say my piece with this, that's it. It's over. I quit. I'm leaving. We approached it where my father did approach.
You're not. We got 35 minutes left.
I don't give a shit about this show, and I'm just going to say what I got to say and then go.
Or I might go. This show again,
or I might go for 35 minutes. Either way, quit making jokes. This is serious.
You should just have a cardboard cutout you put in the background.
Yeah, I'm like Ricky Morton. I'm interchangeable. No, I'm sorry. I'm like Robert Gibson. I'm interchangeable. Just let Ricky give the hot tag, and I'll.
There you go.
Either way.
Sell, Chris. Sell.
So. Fuck, sorry, that sidetracked me. Actually, before I get into this, because it's going to be serious, you know how Jimmy always says that nobody can believe the Young Bucks ever were legitimate or that they can beat anybody's ass? Who the fuck was intimidated by Robert Gibson and Ricky Morton? No offense to either one of them, but I'm not going to back down to either one of those motherfuckers. No. At any point in their careers, neither
especially young Ricky.
Yeah.
If you're gonna, even though Ricky was tough for his size, well, so was Tadpole, a.k.a. Mini B.
Mini B was a bad man.
I would put Tadpole against Ricky Morton any day of the week.
Oh, yeah, no. Tadpole.
His ass.
Mini B's going over, yeah.
He's a fucking 3'9" midget.
But a bad...
Now, Chris, before you actually plan on leaving, I have a question.
What's the question?
Have you watched the Cage yet?
Have I watched The Cage yet?
Have you watched the Cage yet?
I did.
I have not.
I did.
I work. I don't have time.
I went work. I watched 2 episodes.
Okay, I go somewhere where I don't have access to a television.
Around and pick up the checks is what you do. I watched 2 episodes.
There's an argument to be made.
And I was... Chris pointed out to me that it just seems to be the MO of these Marvel shows is that they're very slow.
They're plotting. Like House on Haunted Hill.
I want a little bit of action, and I watched this fucker in a barbershop for most of the first episode.
That's what disappointed.
I was disappointed. I saw the highlights of it, and it looked like a badass show, so I actually went through the trouble to log on Netflix and watch it. And I watched 2 episodes, and I will probably not see the rest of them.
I will say Daredevil is very good. Daredevil's very good.
Yeah, Daredevil is better.
I'm going to give Daredevil a shot eventually.
And Bernthal's on it, and I love Shane, so.
For him, I'll give it a shot.
So back to what I was saying. Rico was a decorated cop in the city of Las Vegas. He went on to do things with the Taxi Cab Authority and with, I believe he was in some way involved in customs for a while, wasn't he?
Seems like it. I know he was with the Taxi Cab Authority as well.
Rico's had a lot of jobs. I get confused on which ones.
He was working in case you think he's laying on his back trying to collect some free money from somebody, that's bullshit. Rico, ever since he left WWE, and by the way, they were the only company that he was ever contracted to for more than than 3 months. That's the only company he ever worked for was WWE.
Briefly for All Japan and briefly for a group in Vegas.
And when he quit, he went to back to work as a cop. And I could never talk to him because he worked 3 fucking jobs a day between the taxi cab, security work at the hotels, and other police-related work. He had 3 fucking separate jobs. Kenny, I'll have to call you back. I'm in the middle of a case. And I heard this all the fucking time. And so the man works 3 jobs, and now he has...
Yeah, he was a marshal of some sort, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's some type of Las Vegas marshal.
Yeah.
And which I would love to have the title Kenny Bolin, United States Federal Marshal.
He wasn't a federal marshal. He was a state marshal.
I want to be a federal marshal.
But yeah, my point is that Rico more than served his debt to the United States government. He has done more than his part. And the fact that he is laying in the state that he is in and that no one is stepping in to help him beyond us and Chris Jericho and a few select fans is sickening. You people want to talk to me about patriotism, about doing your fucking part? Fuck every one of you. You know nothing. You deserve nothing. If you're going to stand there and tell me that it is my duty to stand up for this country and for the people who fight for it, Rico fought for it. Rico did everything that you motherfuckers blow yourselves putting over, and people are not helping him. So fuck all of you. I owe you nothing. I'm a citizen of 29 goddamn countries. Fuck all of you. Okay? Let's make that clear. If you can't help this
28. I think you just got kicked out of this one. Go ahead.
No, still 29. I never count this one.
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't know that.
So, yeah, I have no patience for anybody who's going to tell me that blue lives matter, don't stand up for the Black Lives Matter people. They're doing this. We need to defend our cops. We need to be there for our cops. Well, you're not there for your fucking cop right now, you Republican pricks. If Frank Regal himself, and I know you watch this show, you motherfucker, if you don't yourself give Rico at least $100, you can blow me with your Republican fucking nonsense. You already can't defend a fucking point. You already don't even know why you believe this shit. So if you don't at least give my friend $100 fucking dollars, who you swear to God you defend these people, that these are the people you stand up for, then fuck you. And fuck everything you fucking believe in. And that goes for any Republican who doesn't fucking give him money to help him out. This isn't a charity. It's a charity case in a way, but this isn't a man who doesn't deserve your help. This is a man who defended people, who protected people. This has nothing to do with the wrestling business. Let's remove the time he worked for the WWE.
These are not self-induced.
No,
injuries.
And I'm going to get to that when my own time. I'm not going to do that on here. I don't want anybody to confuse it with a wrestling angle. This needs to be spoken about in a fucking realistic tone. This needs to be something that isn't a promo. Right now, I'm in a bit of a promo mode because I have to entertain people. I won't be when I talk about this. This is just going to be facts. And that'll probably be after Rico does his interview with Jericho.
No, I don't think you're entertaining anybody. I think you're doing fine.
Yeah, well, somebody might enjoy it. At any rate, my father went to the heads of OVW. Should I name them or leave it ambiguous?
Not yet. The heads of OVW is good enough.
Because I wanted to go into great detail, and I wanted to actually have you call out names, and I would explain to people what they are. So
there's only 2 heads of OVW.
There's another one who gets thrown in there as one of the bookers, and I like to bring him up because he's
like Hydra, cut one head off, 2 more go back.
All
I
know is that from the current regime of OVW, all those in charge, and we don't expect the boys to donate anything.
No, they have no money. They're being taken advantage of by management.
They don't have a fucking dollar. They give every dollar they can so that they can wrestle on Danny's show, and. So there's not $1 coming out of that current regime. We approach the powers that be.
No, don't bring that up. That's a Russo gimmick, and he doesn't deserve the comparison to these pieces of garbage.
No.
Vince Russo actually stepped up and was going to help us, and Jimmy shot the legs out from under that. So Jimmy's on my shit list as well.
Russo had a fantastic idea to raise money for this. You want to tell him what it was?
Yeah, to anybody who says that Vince Russo isn't a good man or that he deserves any of these negative things, Vince Russo personally wanted to come on our show or JR's show or Austin's show or any show, even Cornette's show.
Didn't matter.
He was going to go on Cornette's show and have a debate with Cornette, let Cornette say whatever horrible nonsense he wanted to say to him, let fans call in and say whatever horrible nonsense they wanted to say to him, and he was going to take all of this. He was going to take every bit of it that you people wanted to give him. He's going to donate every dollar that this raised. It was going to be a $10 or $15 fee to do it.
Well, we changed it to $1 a download.
To $1 a download, okay.
$1 a download to hear Jimmy and Russo debate. And
any,
every penny was going to go for Rico. I predicted that it could possibly raise as much as $250,000 to $350,000.
Because you people, for whatever reason, hate Vince. I don't get it.
I'm doing Jimmy Cornette's show. I'm doing his 150th episode coming up. It's very unlike any other show you've ever heard me do, because Jimmy thought we were going to entertain people, and we turned it into a shoot debate on why I like Russo and why he doesn't. And then at the end of the show, I said, hey, well, Russo's got a great idea. Why don't you do this? And, of course, he circle jerks around it and won't do it. But, well, we had the great idea to raise a shitload of money for Rico. And my good buddy Cornette won't participate in it, all because he doesn't like Vince Russo.
So if that gives you any indication of where those two men stand morally, I hope that maybe you people will actually give Vince a chance, because he was willing to do something. He was willing to step up. And Jim Cornette never has and never will for anybody other than himself. I'm not sure that...
Is this
what, Eric?
Vince still going?
What?
Is this whole hate for Vince still going?
It'll never die. I'm convinced. We've all tried. I told him, man, it's time to put this shit aside. Dad's begged him to put it aside.
Yeah.
Maya has begged him to put it aside. Vince has begged him to put it aside. To my knowledge, anyone who is in any way involved in the feud has begged him to put it aside. And he won't, because he wants to blow these internet cocksuckers and make them feel like they're important and that their opinion actually matters. When, I'm sorry, you guys get on chat rooms and discuss a fake business. That's what you do. You sit around and you prattle on about how it's all real, and it's not. Vince Russo is a hell of a good man who is willing to do a great thing to help a good man. And you shit on him, and I have no respect for any of you. Not one bit.
And I'm going to be the first to tell you, there's a lot of wrestling ideas out there that I don't agree with. I agreed with little, if anything, that Paul Heyman ever did. I think he's a hell of a promo.
Yeah,
thank God Brock Lesnar's got him, or he'd be fucking lost on Raw with him. Russo's got a lot of ideas I didn't agree with. But you judge a person by what type of man they are, what type of person they are, what their character's about. And I'm sorry, I can't find any flaws in Russo's character.
No.
I know a lot of you out there are going to shit all over that because you listened to Cornette's version. And like what me and Chris used to do. We hated everybody he hated. We hated Mushnick. We hated Russo. We hated Heyman. Heyman actually is not really a bad guy. We had dinner with Heyman.
He's in business for himself, but who isn't really?
In business for himself. But we just horribly disagree and can't really function trying to do a wrestling show together, because he's got one idea and I've got another and Jimmy's got another. And you would think three minds together and it would meld and it would work and we would check each other, but it hasn't worked that way with Paul Heyman. So I had to step aside. Jimmy, of course, got fired. And then Heyman was eventually fired, which was the original plan to begin with, was for Heyman and Cornette to run each other off so Stephanie wouldn't have to deal with either one of them. And then apparently they needed a mouthpiece for Brock Lesnar, and somehow they couldn't find anybody else other than Paul Heyman. So
it worked out. I mean, they've been a great pairing.
Yeah,
I can't knock it. They've been a great pairing.
I agree with that.
But if you want to believe the fake life and the fake narrative that you've been spun for the last 20 years about a man who is, for all intents and purposes, a great guy, just a hell of a stand-up guy. I can't say a negative word about him. I've known him for about 6 months now, and he's been nothing but kind, nothing but generous with my family and my friends.
When I went to the hospital, he was the very first one to call this house to check on
me. First, yeah.
No,
he was the reason I found out about that.
Yeah.
Really? Well, you're right. I think.
Yeah, he was. Vince was blowing up Harry's direct messages to find out what was going on.
Harry, by any chance, did you ever buy the Phantom Power? Are you on Phantom Power?
I did not.
You did not.
It's showing.
It's time to do it. I think that is the difference. You need to buy that Phantom Power. It's about $19 or $20, and maybe that'll save you buying a new computer for the time being. But I've got Phantom Power driving both of these, and maybe I think that's what you need.
But back to what I was actually saying. I don't care
I have
about
plenty of time between now and next time to fix it. So
you got a month.
So what I'm saying is that I'm judging people by how they are with their charity and how they are with helping people who are in need, people they allege to respect, and people who, in my opinion, they owe something to. And a lot of people in WWE right now owe a great deal of debt to Rico. The Randy Ortons and John Cena's would not have made it as far as they did without having him to work with in Ohio Valley Wrestling. Cena in particular with that. Randy benefited greatly, but Cena even more so.
Well, Cornette, out of Cornette's own mouth, I think you will hear on this episode that we're doing, I think you'll hear out of his own mouth is that Rico carried Cena. Rico
carried a lot of people.
Rico carried, he carried Orton. He carried a lot of people. And that was what, and how How many matches did he have under his belt when he came in here, Prince? Was it like 12?
I thought it was 7, but it may have been 12. It wasn't many. He'd done a few for Bassman in California and a few in the Indies in Vegas. But.
And he went on to where he basically was the best talent that we had as a face or a heel.
He was better as a heel, in my opinion. But.
I thought so, too. Cornette didn't think he could be a heel. We've told that story before. And but basically, I don't care what his reasonings were that he didn't get re-signed with WWE. There's been some rumors floating around out there of people trying to cast certain rumors that there was reasons that Rico was fired from the WWE.
Why aren't we just naming people? Like, I don't get why we're not saying stuff.
Well, number one, because, well, you know why we're not, so let Jericho do his thing, and then we'll do some names.
All right.
Sorry. Rico was not fired from WWE. He was released, and for 2 primary reasons.
His contract ran out. He wasn't released mid-cycle.
His contract ran out, and he had asked for a raise. He was under $100,000 a year. He had been there for 4 years, and he asked for the whopping sum of $125,000 so he could pay his bills, so he could support his family, because the road expenses are so expensive. When you hear $100,000 or $99,000 or $90,000, that's not what you're taking home, folks. You got to pay for your hotel, you got to pay for your gas, you got to pay for your rental cars, pay for your food, except for the 1 meal of catering that you get, and then of course you got your gym memberships, your supplements, all the stuff that the wrestlers take, and then of course some of them take even other things they shouldn't be taking.
And in those days, that was rampant.
Yeah, exactly.
This is before the Benoit incident.
So when you factor all that in, 90,000 quickly becomes 35 or 40,000. Paul London told Chris not long ago that when he was traveling with WWE and was not the tag champions, that he had years that he made in the neighborhood of $40,000, basically as a traveling sideshow circus monkey. And they don't want to do anything to protect their monkeys, to cage their monkeys, to take care of their monkeys, to clean up after them. They do nothing. But yet they want to call them independent contractors. Let any of them try to do any work outside of the WWE. So that's not what an independent contractor is. So poor Rico just wanted to make a living. And when he asked for the raise to $125,000, they said, no, I guess we can get another monkey. And he was let go.
And here's an interesting story that I don't think has ever been told on the Alley or anywhere else, actually.
Well, here, we'll give, so you don't have to lean into the...
Well, I'm on mine here.
To the Geratron 5000.
That's the show Rico's doing later. So, sorry, my mic is wobbly here. So, I used to hang out with Rico a lot. He came down here to after he was recovered from an injury to kind of retrain, knock some ring rust off, and get back on his feet before he went back up when he was doing the Adrian Street gimmick late in his tenure there. And as we're driving, he gets a call from one of the writers. I don't remember which one. Maybe
you and I both can verify this. We both heard.
Yeah. I was there during the call. It was gonna happen. This was almost set in stone. They were booking it. I
was convinced it was gonna happen.
I can't remember if Booker T was doing King Booker at that time, but I'm pretty sure that he was. And Rico was going to beat him for the World Heavyweight Championship. They were going to do the gimmick that...
Yeah, regardless of what Booker was, he was the world champion.
Yeah, I can't remember the gimmick. I'm sorry. It's been a long time. I was very young. And Rico was going to beat him for the World Heavyweight Championship. It was going to be that Rico got into his head, that he was homophobic, and basically Rico was going to get a world championship out of it.
And there were at least 3 phone calls.
Yeah.
I think 2 of them Prince heard. One of them was made in my living room. I sat there and listened to the whole thing on speakerphone.
Yeah.
Seeing the smile on Rico's face, he said, I'm getting ready to be the world heavyweight champion. Can you fucking believe that? I'm going to be the world heavyweight champion.
And hopefully, I don't know if Jericho hears our show or if anybody can get word to him, but it would be great if he could actually ask Rico about this on his show, because it's a very interesting part of wrestling history that I think there's like 8 people that know about. So
there's not many.
No, it's not a well-known thing. So... this was the position the man was in. He was making less than $100,000 a year, about to beat Booker T for the World Heavyweight Championship. And a lot of people are going to say, well, why wasn't he just grateful he was going to be the champion? You know, they're giving him that. Look, wrestling is a business. These guys, you know, a lot of them start off because they love it, but when you get out of the basements and the barns and the bingo halls, you want to make money. You know, your first year you're up there, you're happy about the crowd. After that, you've been in front of 30,000 people. It's over. It's time to make some money. The kids are hungry, the wife needs a new car, and the bills got to be paid. And this $40,000 a year downside stuff, when you don't have merchandise and you're not on a lot of the house shows, that's not going to cut it. If you're not making pay-per-view bonuses, if you're not making merchandise sales, if you're not doing any of those things, then you're starving, and your family is starving. And all the gratitude for the exposure means absolutely dick when you can't feed your fucking family. And a lot of these guys are in that position. Maybe not so much now. I don't know what the contracts are like now. But I know there was a time when it was very hard to make your living, even as a mid-card guy. That's why you heard about so many guys hustling T-shirts on the side, trying to make something.
And stealing T-shirts.
Yeah, which is why the Hebners got fired.
Yeah.
And that was a prevalent thing. That's why Chris Benoit probably didn't need the extra money. But that's why a lot of guys were selling steroids to try to make extra money to get by. And that was a prevalent thing back then. If you look at the Balco scandal, there was a lot of names on that probably weren't even taking. They were just distributing. People don't like to bring that up, but it's true. It's a shady business. And when you put people on the road 200-something days a year and you're not paying them enough to pay their bills back home and to live the life that you need them to live, then what are you going to do? You're going to do anything you can. You're going to hustle.
And then on top of that, you don't even want to transport your monkeys properly. They have these big, huge athletes riding coach on the planes. They're forbidden to ride first class.
Which is why Christian went to TNA initially.
Because it shows up some of the other stars. The only ones that are really permitted to fly first class are people like The Taker, Big Show, Mark Henry, some of those guys. And even in the beginning stages, they weren't permitted to do so. And it seems to me, with all the billions this company has supposedly made, that there would be a central location to where they all fly to and then fly on the company plane the way WCW used to do it. WCW had a fucking company plane. And here, Vince, I know he's got one jet. Who flies on that? Just staff? Yeah.
Triple H.
Yeah, Triple H. And so that's great. So buy another one. You know, you've got the money and it's a tax write-off anyway. Have a plane for the boys and a plane for the staff if that's what you got to have. And give these people some fucking room. Treat them like they're a fucking commodity. Pay them like they're a commodity.
No, they treat them like they're a commodity. They trade them off as soon as they're not valued what they want them to be anymore.
You got a point there.
And they very rarely take delivery of any of the issues of them.
And
they're just like a commodity.
Jimmy explained
Little
to me
investment humor.
that I probably was making more money. And people refuse to want to believe this, but my son can tell you.
I can.
I was probably in a position that I was making more money at OVW when you factor in that I didn't have to pay hardly any travel expenses whatsoever. The money I was making selling gimmicks eventually, because as a heel you weren't allowed to. So instead of gimmicks, I was selling advertising and selling the WWE stars when they came down here to the sponsors. But he says at OVW you're probably making somewhere between $100,000 and $125,000 a year. In comparison, if you were making $250,000 a year in the WWE, you would be making overall a lot less money. So that was how because he traveled, he did the shit, he knew. And he told me that I was probably one of the more fortunate people ever to work the business, that I had really such an easy life down here, was able to make damn good money. It didn't come out of Danny Davis's pocket. I created every dollar that I made through selling advertising.
I can't bring up that name.
Danny Davis's name?
Yeah, I can't talk about that?
No, you can't talk about Danny Davis and some of the shit you want to... No, we can't talk about that today. Or Dean Hill. No.
Can't talk about Dean Hill. What about Gilbert Corsi?
Gilbert Corsi? Well, they claimed he didn't know Rico, even though he's a big-time Fox guy. And
that's the least of my problems with Gilbert Corsi.
Well, I know. But no, we can't bring any of those names up right now. Well, we'll maybe another day, but...
Oh, no, definitely another day.
But Gilbert Corsi, Dean Hill, and Danny Davis, we're not going to talk about any of them today.
All right.
Not today.
All right.
Looking
forward to when I get into that.
Any chat questions?
No, they were generally interacting with what you were actually saying. I've some of the Facebook posts though.
Yeah, you better.
One complaint was listening to this post. That's
what about Scan Bar Akbar?
People complaining about echo. It's your speaker.
Oh, that's because I'm next to both microphones. Sorry. I'm sitting next to both microphones.
Yeah, both microphones will cause that.
I apologize.
So
maybe that's why my audio was so bad.
Or are you buying another microphone?
That could be.
See, he just now moved up here, and that's probably what caused that. I did the same thing on the Jim Cornette Experience, and I finally figured out what I'd done.
Fine, it wasn't bipolar.
Now, are they complaining about your audio at all, or is it just on my end that it's sounding pretty rough?
It was like echo. At one point, but mainly the echo.
It's like you're talking into the Higgs boson particle accelerator.
We're
I
not
mean,
really
you sound
hearing
terrible.
much. We're not really hearing much of what you're saying at all. We're just getting bits and pieces.
I'll try and be visually.
Yeah. We'll see how it comes across on the finished product. But yeah, you're gonna have to get that $18.50 Phantom Power. That's
Get a new laptop. I think that's a good investment.
Get a new laptop, Chris says.
Yeah. Get a MacBook.
I hate laptops. Next thing I get will probably be another PC. So
you'll be the guy.
Because mine's about 7 years old.
PCs are dying out.
Yeah, that's what they keep saying. But I'll keep them alive, just like Betamax.
You eventually left Betamax.
Well, I had to. They quit making the goddamn things.
Well,
a couple of years ago. So,
all right. There's a lot of talk on that Facebook post about the Matt Hardy stuff.
He did a bunch of drugs, watched Lucha Underground, and said, "I can do that," and he did.
And that's pretty much what he did.
I don't get it.
Yeah,
it's apparently over, but I don't get it.
Yeah, there's people out there that like it, but I'm not one of them.
Yeah.
Cornette's not one of them, and the Prince isn't one of them. So that thing we do all agree on. It's not my cup of tea. You like it though, Harry, right?
I think Vince likes it.
Really?
I think. I might be wrong.
I don't like it that much, but I like it.
Okay, all right. Anything else in the chat rooms?
I'm very bored.
You want to hear about Kristen Meyer's travels?
You're going to have to repeat that, maybe.
People want to hear about Meyer's travels.
Chris and Maya's troubles? Chris and Maya's troubles? Do we Travels.
We travel a lot. We went through Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, and Tennessee in the course of a day. If you follow me on Instagram, Chris Bolin DDR, you can see some pictures from that. As well as just other random things that I post.
They had dinner on Bourbon Street the other day.
We did. It was not that good, really. It was all right, but...
Oh, now you say that. You didn't say that to the guy that paid for your dinner.
Well, we went to a little hole in the wall, and I think if we'd gone to one of the other restaurants, it would have been better. Apparently what he and Maya got was fantastic, but I had jambalaya. They had gumbo and etouffee, so... the jambalaya was just a little dry. I think it just been in there too long.
That's a possibility.
Yeah, but what they had was great, so they're pleased. Then we went to Café Du Monde and had coffee, and it was amazing, fantastic. I recommend that place to anybody. It's always packed, but it's very good.
That came from Andy Griffith,
Andy Griffith, yes.
Well, as a matter of fact, I think Andy Griffith is going to try and meet up with the Prince and Maya the next time they're traveling down his direction.
We do it a lot.
In Frontierville, Alabama, or where. But Andy's a hell of a griller. He's a master griller, and I won't say what other thing he's a master of. We'll get into that on another show.
Are we ready to hang it up?
And if Chris is fortunate, well, we got about 8 minutes, Chris. And if they're fortunate, they might even get to meet Tractor when they go down there and meet Tractor.
You call that fortunate? Yeah.
Fortunate that I'm not with you.
Yeah. That's about the only fortune there. All right. I think I've had about enough.
You got 8 minutes. You served your sentence. You got to do your little ramble there.
Yeah, and you didn't even let me do it. You didn't let me get in the shit that I was going to get in. You buried me. So
I did not. I said you can do it on the next one.
That's a month.
Jericho still has a meeting to do. Let Jericho do his interview. But yeah, Jericho's going to fly to Vegas and interview Rico and put him on his podcast.
I'm going to go arrange dinner tonight.
Yeah, go arrange dinner. It looks like the Prince is out. The blue BM 800 is sitting over there. And hopefully we're not getting any feedback or echo. So we got about 8 minutes left here, Harry. Let's if there's any other questions, if you have any, and hopefully I can understand what you tell me.
Are we going to pick a piece for the election?
Let's see here. Mr. Peanut. I think Peanut. Who was Peanut going to go with? Give me the options for Peanut.
I don't know. I thought Catholics would pick that one.
A question just came in. Yes, Rico is a Christian, very devout Christian. He's not like me and Cornette. So, yes, he is a Christian, and if that is an avenue, it looks like Rob has written that question in. And so, yes, Rico is a very, very strong faith, devout Christian. Russo is as well. And me and Cornette is another story. And even though we do help a lot of people, well, I do. Cornette don't help fucking nobody but himself. But we don't judge people by their religious faith or lack of religion. What's in your heart? What kind of person are you? And Rico and Russo are good people. I like to think that me and the Prince are good people. If somebody's down and out and through not of their own doing, we will do everything we can to help them. If you did it to yourself and you keep doing it to yourself, well, we pretty much tap out on those. I help those who help themselves is what I try to do, especially children, because children oftentimes get a deal they didn't ask for, and if they can't help themselves, and believe me, me and the Prince are far from rich, but at this point in my life, I only need so much. And so if a little bit will help somebody a lot, then why not? I know Republicans don't feel that way. That's why I'll never be a Republican. And Democrats got a lot of shit that I don't really agree with either. So that's why it was much easier to refer to me as an independent. So that is Rob's question on Rico. So if he's got some avenues out there that'll help, feel free to explore those. But yes, he is a very devout Christian.
Wait, Rob Dickin?
No, that wasn't Rob Dickin. I don't know who that. I didn't catch the last name. It just lit up Rob. And it's feeding me my message here on Google Hangouts. And I think I saw Andy Griffith pop up as well. So, hello, Andy. Hello, Andy. Say hello to Otis and Barney and all the folks down there. Floyd the barber. Say hello to all of them for me. I know Paul RJ, I think, was going to attempt to call in today. I don't know, but I guess he's since found out that he can't call in. And I had 2 or 3 others that were going to call in. So if you happen to see them in the chat room, so be it. And once again, we've been lied to and misguided. We were told Google Hangouts we could take phone calls, but for some reason, apparently we can't. So.
See, I saw those conference icon on the side. I clicked on it and it didn't work.
Now, is your microphone still plugged into the back of your computer like we had discussed before? You switched it and it started doing better? I don't know. Yeah, I think the phantom power is probably going to be the answer to that. It's acting like your PC doesn't have enough power to drive your microphone. That's what it's acting like. And even my PC, I've got like a $1,300 PC here, and even without it, it was a whole nother microphone. The little $18 Phantom Power did wonders. And it drives 2 microphones. It drives that one, and it also drives this one.
It seemed to work before today.
What's that now?
It seemed to work before today.
Yeah, so this one here is the one that looks like yours. As the camera focuses out. And these microphones are now for sale. Let's go ahead and get our pitches in because we've got about 3 minutes here to wrap up the show. So we'll get our pitches in. If you want the BM microphones are, and don't judge Harry by his, judge me by mine, because he doesn't have his phantom power. But they're $59.95. Vince Russo paid $129 for his. He has these same exact microphones. And they are... At one point, we're $129.95, and oh, by the way, before I get into the microphones, I got to point out that the Tractor, you got Andy down there who's a huge Alabama fan. They play Arkansas this week. Tractor is a huge Florida State fan, and I don't know how many of you all in the States watched the Louisville-Florida State game, but we gave Florida State the worst beating they got in the history of Florida State football. They beat them like 66-20 or something like that. It was just a monumental beatdown. It was just horrific, and just destroyed them. They've now dropped from 3rd to 23rd, or 2nd to 23rd And they could fall out of the rankings this week as they play my Miami Hurricanes, which I'm also a fan of. And Andy, to celebrate, bought a set of Alabama Beats, and he's got a BS T-shirt, and I think he recently bought a set of Auburn Beats as well, if I remember correctly. So Andy takes care of us down there in Alabama. But Tractor, he's in remission right now. He's having a tough time realizing that my Louisville Cardinals absolutely destroyed his Florida State Seminoles and just beat them like a drum. And we gave Clemson all they wanted on their home field, but I think we're going to rebound from that, and I think we still may be in the national championship game by year's end if we beat Houston. So there's your football update for the day. And as far as merchandise goes, my book, if you want an autographed copy of my book, they're $25.90 shipped. As a matter of fact, I've got a few that Jim. There you go. As a matter of fact, Jim Cornette has signed. Jim Cornette has signed a few for me that we're going to be putting up as special books that the 100% of the funds are going to go to the Rico Medical Fund. I'm going to be putting those up on Facebook later. I've actually got, I think, 3 or 4 copies of the Midnight Express book left. They are the last 3-4 copies available on the planet Earth. He does not have any more. I found some in a closet. I've already sold 3 of them. We're going to put, I think, 3 or 4 of those up for sale. We'll see how many I got left. It's 3 or 4. They're going to be expensive, but every dollar of it goes for Rico. They are autographed Midnight Express books for Jimmy Cornette. You can't get them anymore. We're going to put them up for $100. I know that sounds like a lot of money, but you get a very, very rare book that you can't get anymore. There's only 3 or 4 copies left, and every dollar of that is going to go to the Rico Medical Fund. The 6 books I've got that are autographed by both me and Jimmy, those are going to be for $50 donations. But I'm not going to auction them. I could do that and maybe raise more money, but for simplicity, you look like a fool. And but just for simplicity, we're going to put a $50 price on those 6 books. I think one of them might even be a Bluegrass Brawlers book, the history of professional wrestling in Louisville. But all of them, you look a lot better with that mask, actually. So we're going to put 6 of those books up on Facebook coming up here very soon. They will go for $50 each, signed by both me and Jimmy. 100% of the funds are going to the Rico Fund. So you're making a donation for Rico, and you're going to get a book out of the deal, either the Midnight Express book for $100, or my book, I Probably Screwed You Too, for $50, and it's signed by both me and Cornette. The BS T-shirts are $25.90 shipped. $25.95 shipped. The microphones, I think we covered, $59.95. You will need phantom power with it to get the most out of them. Some PCs have enough power to drive them. Laptops, as a rule, do not. So the phantom power runs about $18, and it gives you everything you need. And so if you're doing podcast out there, and like I said, don't judge Harry by his because he didn't get his phantom power. But judge me by mine or other shows that I've done. And am I still coming through clear, Harry, I hope?
You are still coming through clear.
Or I'm killing my microphone sales if I'm not. So
the only issue we've had tonight has been that echo because of you being on speaker.
Yeah, I'm on my speakers as well instead of headphones.
Yeah.
So that might be a bit of an issue as well. And but when I have Prince in here, that's really, well, I have headphones that we can connect into each other, so we might do that the next time. It's a learning process here, folks. We're doing the best we can.
This is the first time we had the live video, so.
Yeah, and this is the, for whatever reason, from what the numbers show, and Harry, you're still getting those numbers from Podcast Gardens?
I'm checking quite recently.
Well, check again, because I don't want to lie to the people, but the last 6 or 7 shows we've done since Russo appeared, we've been averaging over 100,000 downloads. I think the worst show we did 79,000. The best show we did over 160,000. That was one of our shows we did with Russo. And from what we hear, Cornette's best show he ever did, which was with me, and another one was Steve Austin. I'm 5 of his top 6 shows, and Jimmy Cornette has not cracked. Somebody's trying to call me on, which ain't going to work. So that's a Facebook call is what you're hearing, but I can't see it because I'm on Google Hangouts, so they'll have to get over.
Kenny, before we go,
Yeah.
we're offline on the radio, but Hag wants to do any as it's his anniversary.
Do I have any Brian Pillman stories?
Yeah.
Well, I did his memorial show in Cincinnati once, and I apologize for the aggravating ringing there. I think that's my girlfriend in the Philippines trying to call me on Facebook. And I really don't. I didn't know him that well. Cornette knew him a little better than I did. I did his memorial show in Cincinnati that was great. It was a huge crowd, had a few thousand people. Me and Rico and John Cena were all three on that show. And I think we were the 8th of 16 matches that night. It run on a long time. Tammy Sitch was there and was drunk and had to be sent home. What else is new? And I'm trying to remember who. I think Missy Hyatt had to escort her out of the building because she was there drunk as a fucking skunk and was in no shape to perform. Missy Hyatt wasn't much better, but she was still sober enough to get Tammy Sitch out of there. And lots of big stars were there too. I can't really get into everybody, but that's really the only tie to Brian Pillman that I have. I mean, he was a hell of an entertainer, a Cincinnati boy. Well, some people don't give up. So other than that, that's about it. I guess we can wrap up with that, unless you see any other last-second questions in there we want to get out.
I can't actually see Mixler because of Hangouts. I think that's it.
All righty, boss. Well, I had a good time. A little bit different show here tonight. I know we covered a lot on Rico, and that was the intentions of this show. And apparently I have a very persistent girlfriend that's going to keep calling until I answer the goddamn phone. So other than that, my friends, y'all have a good one. And I did say good day.
Good day.